Okay. Hello.
Hi.
I just put my hand on something really gross on our table where our girls were eating.
I can't speak to that.
Let me turn this just a touch.
Thank you.
You're in.
I'm in a shot.
Yeah, we're going to have to spray this table off again. So today is day 99 in Liberia, day 143 of videoing. If you've never watched our videos before, would you like to say this part this time?
If you've never watched our videos before, we are adopting two little girls from Liberia. And we've been in that process for a little over 2 years. And we've been in Liberia waiting to complete that adoption for 99 days. And this is our video blog or vlog. For this year, we've done a video every day kind of updating our process and our emotional and situation. And yeah. That's what's up. And today is a big day for us. Today is our 15th year anniversary.
15-year anniversary. One of our kids, we had to buy her one of these in the airport. We're from Tennessee originally. We got married in Tennessee. We've been married for 15 years. So we're talking about like what we do for our anniversary every year. Now, typically, so here's our anniversary. So like our first, second, and third anniversary, we I don't know exactly what we did. Like we went to the beach, or we went on a trip, or we went to our 10-year anniversary. We went to like this resort at Wildwood Resorts in Tennessee, and we took the boat. We stayed in like a renovated Airstream camper by the lake, and it was really nice. Just this little resort, little camping RVing resort.
Very relaxing.
But we didn't bring the Airstream. We rented their Airstream. It was very fun without the kids. But most of the time, like we just basically would let whatever babysitter we had spend the night with our kids, and we would just either go away overnight or just come in super late and not have to wake up early. So this is the first anniversary. But we're trying to think of all the anniversaries that we've done. I remember going on the trip in the Airstream, a 10-year anniversary, and that was that trip was when we definitely decided to move to Florida. We were thinking about it. We were just kind of in that window, but we just were okay, we're going to do it. So the 10-year anniversary really sticks out. The 5-year anniversary, we had 2 babies. So I know what it was. We had 1 baby, and I was pregnant with another baby, and it was just not fun. But I think we went
2014.
Yeah, we had 2 No, 2014. Oh, then we did have 2 babies.
Yeah, 2014.
We had 2 babies and no money.
Because we had...
And 2 houses, I think. 3 houses, maybe. We had a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were thinking back on all the things in our marriage. I mentioned this a couple of days ago in a video, and Anna sometimes will quote me. She'll my friend Anna will text me after she watches our video, and there's one liner. It's usually something Jeremy says about me, like the one who doesn't cook complains, and just what'd you say, something about the guitar. She quoted you. It's usually Jeremy quotes at not necessarily at my expense, but maybe. But
I'm sure it's retaliation for you saying
something like, oh, I know. We were one day we were saying something about we're going to name an ulcer after a phrase or so. Anyways, so Anna said, but on a serious note, so Anna usually has funny one-liners that she'll repeat. She'll just, her standouts will be they're funny. And I don't remember. Do you remember one from last night that was funny? Because you read through them, but you laughed.
I forgot.
That's so Anna. One thing that I said, though, sometimes she'll send me the funny ones, and sometimes she'll send me one with a heart or a emoji that's crying. And one of them I wanted to just repeat was, you need to understand surrender before you ever sit here. You need to have a really strong marriage if you're going to pursue adoption, international adoption especially.
Yeah.
If you think that adopting a baby, or having a baby in general, but definitely adopting a baby is something that's just going to take a rocky marriage and make it better, that's not true. This can't be one of the things. If you're our marriage is kind of struggling, get some counseling for that, get some help from that, get some people involved. Every marriage has those times where you're this is fun, like not so fun. Where you got to seek out, Okay.
Hang on a second.
What's your?
There's a lizard in the bathroom.
Oh, I'm not. That's a Jeremy
That
problem.
doesn't seem like a serious problem.
So the girls have a lizard in the bathroom. So he'll be back in a second. Because I'm not going to help with the lizard in the bathroom. I do want to say though, 15 years of marriage, and as much fun as we've had on anniversary trips in the past, this will be the standout. This will be the one that we always remember, our 15-year anniversary. And today for our anniversary, we literally went down to the restaurant, watched the ocean, 10 to 12 foot waves. You can't swim there. Had some hummus and some French fries, and came back to the room, and the kids took showers, and Jeremy figured out how to make tacos here in Liberia, which, was really good. Hopefully it all stays down. Red meat in another country, I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't eat a lot of red meat. Really, I just eat whatever Jeremy makes. So, I don't want to be like, I don't like red meat, because I do. He doesn't make it a lot, so. But understanding surrender before you ever put yourself in a position to be sitting in Liberia, we're in this full surrender now. We get, different help from different people every day, encouragement-wise. The noonday stuff helps keep me going. I'm wearing a noonday necklace. There's just a lot of, every time somebody buys something there, it gives us a boost on our adoption expenses. Yesterday we had a stranger give us money that a friend of, it's someone that Jeremy met during the hurricane. Are you going to release it? Or is it already dead? I don't want to see it.
Release its tail.
Is it still alive?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, get out of here. Go.
Oh, I'm doing a video. That's really gross. Did you guys see my face when he brought the lizard over?
All right, go.
I gave it poisonous.
Go to bed.
Bye.
So, lizards in our room. This happens in Florida, though. Lizards aren't a big deal. But if you live in, Tennessee...
We got lizard pee on.
Will you shut that door back?
Okay.
Well, in Tennessee, you don't have lizards, but you can have snakes and frogs, but not as much. But frogs are a big deal in Florida. Lizards. So anyways, back to the strength of your marriage. So I think it's important that you have a strong marriage before you pursue this. And if your marriage is a little rocky, that doesn't mean anything. It just means, don't sign up for adoption until you kind of get that out of the way. Because you're going to need someone that is on your side 100%. That's not, because you're going to get mad. Certainly... You're going to get mad at each other. These are close quarters, but hopefully no one else will have to come live here for 100 days. So when the sun went down today on day 99, we realized we were going to wake up and be 100 days in Liberia. We will always remember our 15-year anniversary because we spent it here.
Yes.
But some of the funny things, our kids, there was actually several people at the restaurant today. It was fairly busy. There's some music playing, kind of DJing it up, but not terribly loud. And our kids are the only kids playing on the beach. So they're in their bathing suits. I have them in long sleeve, bathing suits and shorts kind of thing. But they're in their normal bathing suit attire. Nothing, but very conservative, I guess you would say. Kind of like their boating wear. And no one else is playing on the beach. And these waves are and they're just running around like crazy. And all these people are sitting down, It's a fairly uppity place for Liberia. It's fairly expensive, I guess. But I'm just thinking, I wonder what these people think about our kids running around. One of our kids, our 8-year-old, was literally doing log rolls on the sand. And not for any reason. Just log roll this way, log roll that way, and laugh. And do it again. And she was catching little bitty crabs. They're about this big. They're called ghost crabs. And she was happy as a lark. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. So that was funny. I just wonder what the Liberians think of us. The staff there, they kind of know. The waves were scary. And the water came all the way up to I was sitting in the restaurant under the cover, outdoor, and the water hit my toes. I feel like the owner's blood pressure may have spiked today. So our battle with the mosquitoes. Something I want to talk about. So this room has more mosquitoes in it just because of where the door is and where it is in the resort. And I haven't had any problems with mosquitoes, but our other place we moved in during the dry season when you really didn't see that many mosquitoes. And now it's not the dry season and we're kind of in the garden area, so there's a lot more vegetation, so there's a lot more mosquitoes. So every time the girls open the door, I'm like, hurry up! I feel like they stop right in the middle of the door. But the door opens right into where we sleep. So the other place, we went in our door, and then we had to go upstairs to where we slept, and then another third floor to get to the girls' room. So there really wasn't, I mean, for a bug to come in, it was kind of like, we'd have to leave a window open. So I was Googling mosquitoes, and they're going to bring us a fan. Of course, we asked for something here. Sometimes we get it right away. Sometimes we have to ask 3 or 4 different people. But we had a big oscillating fan at in the other room. So we're going to see if we can bring that over, because if it's windy or air is circulating quickly like a fan, mosquitoes can't really bite you. They can't really land. They kind of get thrown off kilter. Also, this is a bathing suit shirt, but it's like, I fish in this and boat in this, but it's that like waterproof, the rash guard, whatever. But it's like long sleeve and it's long. And I slept in this last night and I did not have any new mosquito bites on my upper body. But like, and I had the air conditioner pointed right down on us. But when the power goes off, the air conditioner vent kind of resets and it's not blowing down on us anymore. So I'm like, I need the fan. We also asked for onions. We wanted 1 onion and 1 tomato. We got 5 onions, 6 pieces of garlic.
6 cloves.
6 cloves of garlic, 5 onions, but no tomatoes. Because tomatoes are apparently like a luxury item or a hot commodity, or maybe the manager counts those. I don't know. The kitchen guy, the chef, I see him all the time. Jeremy's making friends with him. Did you catch his name?
I didn't, but he said that...
Did he say it and you couldn't figure it out?
He didn't say it. But he said that Abu would run out if we gave him some cash and grab us a tomato. And I'm like, I'll count.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I'm ready to cook right now.
Although, I bet we could make a list of produce that we want and let Abu go get it. I need like 2 pineapples.
Tacos today?
Not yet. Oh, I said you made tacos, but I didn't really. I said I hope they all stay down.
It was delicious.
It was delicious, but red meat in another country, I'm just...
Yeah, we've eaten it like several times in spaghetti and stuff. It would be fun.
I haven't. I don't eat spaghetti that much. The sauce gives me heartburn. And the noodles remind me of, I don't know, something. Worms. So you made so I thought when I looked at the taco, so do we have any cheese left? We do have some cheese. I just don't want to waste it on our kids. I've got a little bit of the Colby Jack I carried from home here. But we had corn. It's like frozen corn, but Jeremy cooked it on the stove, right? Do you microwave it first and then put it on the stove?
Yeah, I just fried it in a skillet.
Fry it in the skillet. But it's like frozen corn you can microwave. And Lebanese bread, which is like pita bread, but thinner. And sauteed onions, no garlic. And the red meat and taco seasoning.
Yeah, I found a little sprinkly thing of taco seasoning. It was like this
little packet, spice packet?
No, it was like a salt shaker.
Oh.
It was only like $3 or $4. I almost got some. It was so hard for me not to get it. I went to Stop and Shop, and it was like $15
for taco seasoning.
Yeah, but it was,
like for a packet.
It was a bigger thing of it.
Oh.
And I was so on the fence. I was like, $15. That was like a lot for one item. I was like,
Yeah, I tried something different at breakfast today too. I tried hummus seed with like pita bread, and I really liked the tomatoes, the black olives, and the onions. I did not really like the hummus. It was like
just
chickpeas.
That hadn't been mashed up yet.
Yeah, I like hummus dip. I didn't like the chickpeas. I guess is what they were, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't a fan. I mean, I just needed something different. So I don't know what I'm gonna
want. The Bruces left, and they left like some Texas Pete hot sauce, and I was like, I forgot how much I like that. I've eaten that on almost every meal. I found a way to put some hot sauce just to change it.
Good. I put a little ranch with my meat and corn and pita bread.
Like I put some on my eggs in the morning. It's just something different.
So yeah. So I slept in my bathing suit shirt and ate red meat in Liberia. And
it just says ground meat. It doesn't tell you what it is.
It says minced meat.
No, that's not here. That was at Safeway too, or that's a Stop.
Well, but minced meat and ground meat is like ground beef and minced meat is like equivocal. So what we say is ground beef. I googled this. What we say is ground beef in America is actually minced meat here. So if someone wanted minced meat, if a Liberian went to the grocery store in America and wanted minced meat, they would need ground beef.
Sure.
Why are you looking at me like I'm dumb?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
That was the first time I'd ever seen that. It was the mincemeat, and I was like, it looks
But
like
you
ground
bought
meat.
it.
I'm like, it looks just like it. I want to go with
What's
it.
the worst that can happen?
I was worried maybe it wasn't like beef or something. It was maybe like ground up lamb or something. Who knows?
So when we first got here, so I decided I've had this book for it tells you how to crochet for. Can you see do you see my book over there?
Yeah.
Can you grab it for me?
Oh, sure.
I don't like to.
I was just thinking I wanted to get
Get
up
up.
again.
All right. So I just want to show you guys this. Crochet cute critters. I know it's backwards. So I've had this book for a while because one of my kids was like, I want to learn how to crochet. And I was like, well, we'll just get a book and figure it out. The directions are kind of hard, but I figured out the directions finally. But I've had this book for a while, but I'm like, I need something. For me, I can't just sit around. I can play video games, I guess, but then I eventually get a headache. But like, there's nothing to do here that's, I mean, you can only watch so many cartoons. Like, it's just, there's not much to do for us. And so the girls don't really like to play cards. Jeremy doesn't like to play cards with me because I'm mean. They're just not, I mean, all this stuff, like, it's just hard. They're working on a puzzle, I think, but then they keep tearing it up. But this isn't kind of my thing because it can turn into a toy. So I just want to show you guys how this has kind of evolved. So the girls gave a little bit of input on what I was making. And I've messed up a lot too. But I thought for sure in Liberia, this would be a place that I could find yarn because of the hair, like the extensions. I mean, we use yarn for extensions in younger kids and even older kids, like even grown women use yarn and extensions all over the US. And here, like I'll see them with color, but it's like wool. It's like dyed wool. It's not yarn. And I've asked for like yarn and people are like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's not been in any store. So when I went back to America, I got better yarn. But anyways, I brought yarn with me to put in my daughter's hair, but also to do this. So my first project was an elephant. I'm big on elephants. I want my spirit animal is probably a grizzly bear and not a nice one. But I want my spirit animal to be an elephant because elephants are nice and they go in packs and they protect each other. So here's what the elephant picture looks like. And this was my first, not my first project ever, but my first where I really read the book. This is what it turned out. Now, this one, keep in mind, my kids have been playing with this one like crazy, okay? And so I mean, and I don't care if they play with it like crazy, but I was making her, but she was not done. This is Rosie. She was not done. I had started on her before we left Tennessee to get on a plane to come to Liberia. And I didn't finish her until after we'd been here for like 2 weeks. But she's pretty cute, right? So then the girls were like, can you make me then I was like, I'm gonna try something easier. So I decided to do an iguana. And okay, so here's the iguana, Iggy. And ours is a girl one. The girls named her Igana. She really doesn't look at all like an iguana. Her head's on crooked. Her little like spiky thing kind of like got messed up. She does have legs and a tail. And if you look real close, she's got eyes. I don't think she ever had a mouth. No, this one doesn't have a mouth, so I didn't put a mouth on her either. So, not really that close, but the kids have had fun. So then they were like, Mom, can you make us a dragon? And I was like, sure, I can make you a dragon. So I decided to combine the alligator. You're not even laughing really hard at the difference. I think it's funny. So I decided to combine an alligator and like a penguin. So here's the dragon. This is Delilah. Okay, Delilah the dragon. So her nose came out too long. Her nostrils are a little crooked. She's beautiful though. She's got wings.
I see improvement.
Yeah. She's got her little legs and arms, but her nose, the snout, was not supposed to be that long. Jeremy made lots of jokes about the snout. So then they decided that Delilah needed a mate because they want baby dragons, so they needed a daddy dragon. So this one is what we call, I started it and ran out of yarn, and I didn't want to go back and change. So this is a same guy, kind of an alligator, but now his arms don't stay down like they're supposed to. So He's got eyes and a nose. I used owl wings for him instead of penguin wings because they were bigger. His tail, I mean, this is all different colors. So you can tell like the bad yarn that had been all over and wasn't as good, and then the new yarn when I got home. So he is Samson. So Samson and Delilah are going to have dragon babies, but I'm not going to make them. They're going to be imaginary. So these guys. So then I decided I tried to make a unicorn and I messed it up. So I ended up instead turning the unicorn into an octopus. And this is the first thing, or squid, whatever you want it to be. This is the first thing that like actually looks a little bit like the picture. So Jeremy was like, oh, that's the best one. Part of it is, it's a jellyfish in here. Jellyfish, I guess. Not really an octopus because the jellyfish is here. This is Jet, the jellyfish, and he is like probably the best one. So, but I started him as a unicorn. This is how bored. Like I work in the ER as a PA, and I work nights because I want to just, if we're gonna work hard, let's do it. And like even at night when it's slow, you still have to have this like underlying vigilance of like, so there's always just this kind of like underlying tick of adrenaline, like anything could happen. At work, I do not like to be bored, but you know, I've adapted. So we have Rosie, Igana, we have Samson and Delilah. This is how I've been spending my time. Samson and Delilah. Delilah's probably better than Samson, but I think it's just because her color scheme matches. And then we have Jet, the jelly. So I don't think this skill's ever going to help me with anything except for favor with my children. I think that this is just sad that I have spent the last 100 days not making a dime. Except, well, the New Day stuff, but I feel like that's more advocacy and fundraising than it is like Rachel's skills. Maybe it's a little bit my skills, but this is it. So today I took my knitting to the beach with me. It's kind of depressing, but at least I'm surrounded by my people. Have you enjoyed the stuffed animals, Lover?
Sure. I play with them when you're not looking.
Just don't worry, guys. I'm just gonna keep these over here. Yeah.
They're my friends. They're my friends.
So my recommendation is make sure that you got a pretty decent marriage before you agree to adoption, and like go to the counseling. Everybody needs a therapist. I'm gonna have to do a Zoom call with my therapist soon, probably just for fun. To talk me off the cliff of my worst case scenario. And I'll show you guys when I finish the unicorn. I've gotten faster at it, haven't I?
Yep, you have. We sit around and watch How to Get Away with Murder, and
I knit.
And you knit.
One of my kids was reading to me today, The Wings of Fire. I was trying to follow her because it's a comic book she's reading from, so I can't really see the pictures. But I was like, this is how it's going to be when I'm old. She's got my 8-year-old American daughter. Who knows about the other two yet, but she's going to visit me in the home and read to me. That's how she is. She's reading to me today. You can play your guitar.
Sure. I get excited today thinking about like having these memories of getting home with our new kids and then just looking at their faces as we go to our house, seeing their reaction.
Yeah. We're going to have to probably take them to a rental and then another rental and then maybe 6 months from then back to our house.
Yes. So circa 1970s song came out. You ready?
I'm ready. The Down on the Corner. Is that one?
Oh.
I mean, it'd be more productive for me to learn to play the guitar than to knit, but that involves me taking instruction from my husband, which, you know, he's not very patient on giving instruction to me. And he's just good at everything. I I think you should go take your guitar to the beach tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Friday. I think you should take your guitar to the pool or the beach and just sit there and play it and see what happens. See if anybody walks over and gives us any money.
Just put my hat up.
I think you should. I think you should wear your hat, because it's the first video I think you haven't had your hat on. Did you lose it, or you just thought your hair looked good today?
Well, I jumped in the pool, so.
Oh yeah, so you're a little. Did you bring your hat back from the pool?
Yeah, it's over there with my sunglasses.
Okay.
The hat and the sunglasses go hand in hand.
It's part of Jeremy's.
My ensemble.
Yeah.
Some people have a purse. I have a hat and sunglasses.
Did you hear what I said? You're not very patient about instructing me on things. So
Is
I
it
could
that
learn to
I'm
play
not patient, or you're not
No, it's you. It's not me. It's you.
Oh.
You're like, you've gotten better with age, but I remember early on in our marriage where you were not patient at all, and I was like...
I think patience goes both ways.
You were like, let me
But
just...
after 15
let me
years
just
of
do
marriage,
it.
I'm just
Let
going
me
to let
do
that
it.
go and be like, you're right, baby.
Oh, but you're not letting it go, though. You're not letting it go. No, you've gotten more patient. I mean, you're much more patient with the girls than you are me, but I was like, maybe it would be more useful for me to learn to play the guitar while we're in another country. This would be the time
Do it.
to do it. I don't have anything else to do. But yeah. So we there was a lawyer meeting today, and it didn't go well. They told him to come back tomorrow. So we're hoping that tomorrow means actually tomorrow and not 6 months from now or 3 weeks from now or whatever. We actually, the Butler family Victoria Butler shared a lot of her story on a video on Facebook in a private group yesterday. I don't want to steal her thunder on her story, but her story, we didn't know this when this first started happening. They were on a witch hunt to try to figure out something wrong with Liberia adoptions. And long story short on the Butler case, what it sounds like to me in a nutshell is that they took advantage of a young birth mother without a lot of support or without a lot of educational history, specifically English as we know it. They call it Siri here, but like she speaks it's not her first language. She speaks a tribal tongue as her first language. This was a woman who found herself parenting babies, and they're twins, so two of them at once, and she found herself scared for their life because of her inability to support their nutritional needs. While she was trying to meet their nutritional needs, she did come across the idea of placing her children in an orphanage. There was nothing nefarious, nothing illegal, or nothing. It was a very typical story, although all of these stories are unique and all of these stories are heartbreaking. It was a very I've heard a lot of these stories. I've become friends with, and I knew people that had adopted from Liberia long before we entered this ring. But since I know these stories, and because the parents will tell you, some of the children know their stories, although I don't ask them. But you know, it's almost like when you read the paper trail and you read we finally gotten to look at some of the initial documents that were published, like memos from here or there, unclassified documents that were the beginning of this investigation. It's literally like they're targeting her because she's young and she's vulnerable and she has no one else to speak for her. And she spoke for herself, but she can't type out a Word document for herself. Does not have that skill set. So when you try to submit her handwritten statement in a Word document, it's a tough sell. And that's something that, so she's just a birth mother who, like many birth mothers, found herself on shaky ground and scared for her children's life and made the best decision she could and still stands behind that decision. And it's been 2.5 years, I think, since she placed the children in the orphanage. And they turned 5 in the orphanage this weekend. And they were legally adopted by the Butler family October 24th of 2023. And they're still not home. And I know the Butler story, I know the birth mom story, I know it backwards and forwards, and I've heard it from several different people. And I can't tell you how, I mean, it's amazing to me how accurate it is every time. I hear Jeremy tell me about what Sam said happened to the Butlers. I hear straight from Victoria Butler what happened to her kids. I hear from the orphanage director bits and pieces. I hear from the nannies bits and pieces. Everybody that I've heard from it's the exact same story.
Never changes.
Like, it never changes. But when you read the documentation that came from the U.S. Embassy of their concerns about this case, that is the only outlier. So there's a part of you that thinks, maybe she did, maybe there was something that came up at the last minute that just was, maybe there was something to look into, but that should have been looked into by the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection. They do the investigative reports. Not to mention that our orphanage director does an independent report, but the Ministry of Gender, Children, Families, and Social Protection do their own report. So multiple people have interviewed. So I don't know. I'm glad that they're going more public with their story at this point. I'm glad that they're seeking legal counsel from the U.S. side. I'm glad that they have encouraging advice from legal counsel. All of our families that are involved in this adoption are needing money. And I'm like, we're in a place to receive help right now. But when Victoria told me that she had to pay this lawyer $300 for an hour consultation, I sent her money today to help with that on her Adopt Together. Because although I'm short on funds myself, she's got to get those kids home. And he's the first person she's talked to that said, I see a way through, confident way through. So all of that being said, like, we know that there are good people here in Liberia that are trying to make sure that these kids have a future. Something that stuck out in our birth mothers. Our birth mother explained to our orphanage director, and he documented it in their report. When we received their information, we got to kind of read their back history. When you are offered children to adopt, like when you're offered the opportunity to consider what's called a referral, you get a case history of what the orphanage director knows and what the family had said and their reasons behind placing the children for adoption. And it always struck me what our daughter's birth mother said. And I don't want to tell too much of her story because it's their story to tell, but just a future. Not like a great future, not like I want them to go to college, not I want to make sure that they get, to play sports and they don't have to work or, sell bread on the street or, God forbid, be exploited in any way. A future, meaning she thought they were going to die. She was choosing between watching them starve to death and die, or place them with a Christian adoption agency and that's where her faith lies. She claims Christianity as her religion on their paperwork. And it's just, when you ask her, why do you want your children to be at the orphanage? I want them to be adopted so that they will have a future. It's resounding. So now that I've gotten to know the Butler's twins, because we go visit them, and I gave them birthday presents to open just to kind of signify that day, since, their parents aren't here, and like their parents sent tons of, we've given them things. We've tried to show them videos of their parents. We've sent videos and pictures, they're like the only kids we can do that with because they are legally adopted, but we've gotten to know these babies and they're turning 5. And it breaks my heart that this woman did the only right thing that she could find, and that she has been harassed, interviewed. She's scared. She wants her children to go to the family that adopted them. And they didn't know her before, but they met her in Liberian court. It's an open adoption when you go to Liberian court, so we'll get to meet our children's birth family. It would be inappropriate for us to really have contact with them before, just because, you don't, but it's open when it's done, and we can give them email addresses and phone numbers if they want. You can be as open as you want, as much as you can be transcontinentally open. But she did the right thing. And when I look at these little girls and I realize that they were on the brink of starvation, and that this woman made this decision almost 3 years ago. And I don't know the exact dates they entered the orphanage, but I know that their 3rd birthday, 4th birthday, and 5th birthday was celebrated within those walls of that orphanage. I know that. So why would anyone interfere with that loving decision to place their feet in safer ground? And here, I mean, in the U.S., we have other options. We've adopted in the U.S. before. We've fostered in the U.S. before. Birth families come from usually traumatizing backgrounds, lack of resources, lack of education, all of it. But in the U.S., there's a welfare system that does not exist here. I don't know that I've ever looked at I've listened to birth families tell stories of being scared of certain things. Maybe their kids going into, but I've never had a conversation with a birth parent that says that my kid's going to starve to death. Because they know, I mean, just go to the ER. We'll give you gift cards for a week. We'll take care of you. I mean, you know, go, like, I know, like, over Christmas, there'll be ER, like, we'll give out gift cards just for families to go eat. You know, have what they need. Maybe go to Target, get a couple gifts. Like, we're a generous nation. A generous collection of people in the U.S. In Liberia, I believe the generosity of heart is there, but the resources are lacking, so...
Yeah, so who's taking advantage of the vulnerable person in this situation? Is it the government entity that is trying to maneuver and make things seem what they're not, or is it the adoption agency who's trying to help this family and keep 2 kids alive? Who's taking advantage of the weakest and the vulnerable in that situation?
And what do you have to gain?
And what do you have to gain from that, other than trying to be some kind of made-up hero in your own mind or something? So I don't get it at all. It's frustrating hearing that story. I'm proud of the Butlers for fighting. Good for them.
I'm proud of the birth mother of those twins. I'm proud of the Butlers for sure. I am proud of the birth mother, knowing that her educational background, her resources, her ability to feed herself and support herself is already compromised even before she had those kids. I am impressed at her strength and resolve to continue to answer the questions over and over and over, exactly the same, and to continue to speak with people the way that she should, and continue to hope for her children for the best, and to continue to stay her course. If there was anything about this woman that didn't understand adoption, she would have gone and picked up her kids way before today. She knows. And the accusation is that she did not know.
So think about that game. What's the game where y'all stand in a circle and somebody starts a conversation and it goes around, and how much
it's called gossip.
How much it changes at the end. So think about this has not changed in 7 months.
It hasn't changed.
And then our telling of the same story. You know, the only time that can happen is when it's the truth.
They talk about the Bible being withstanding that long.
If there's no angle or changing to your story, it's because it's the truth. And it's just
the truth.
I expect better from our people. This is disgusting.
So
I'm vexed with my people, as what everyone would say.
They use the word embarrass. Embarrass means harass, and vexed means angry. But at the same time, like, I think Victoria has to be at least 10 years younger than me, if not more. Like, she just looks younger. Maybe she's older than I think she is, but she just looks younger, and but her faith, you know, when she's been separated from her kids for 7 months since she agreed in Liberia court to adopt them and had that happy time. She had, at the time of her adoption, she had 4 kids, 5 and under. Brave. But whenever she talks about their adoption, she always re-acknowledges the sovereignty of God, that God is in control, that God hears me, and that God loves these kids more than I do. And I'm like, that's a very mature statement. And I don't, like, not that, I mean, she's a very spiritually mature mother, and very, I mean, you know, she knows that, but to be able to say it, she says it much more than I do, to be able to say that I know that God loves these kids more than I do, and that he sees this and will fix it, is a statement of faith that I have not made near as many times as she has. But I hear it every time. And, you know, evil prevails when good men do nothing. And exploiting American families because they may be able to come up with the money to continue to pay and not get what they want. Exploiting Liberian birth families that are just trying to make sure their kids don't starve to death and have a future. This has been a really good partnership until now. So, but yeah, the story hasn't changed, and the truth eventually sets everybody free. But in the meantime, there are children in Liberia that could have entered that orphanage and lived that did not live. There just are. Statistically, there are. And they've turned away 5 to 10 a month for the last, since November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 6 months. 30 to 60 kids probably that are in the ground now that didn't have to be there.
Somebody caused that. So that person needs to ask for forgiveness. Rock and roll.
I can't say all the things I think that should happen to that person. I'm trying to let them spread through my head. Let's think about the jellyfish. I am totally going to knit when I go to the U.S. Embassy office because I'm going to need to.
Probably can't take it.
No, you can't. You just can't take electronics. You can take books. You can't take food, and you can't take electronics. I bet they'll let me take yarn.
Can you take a wire and like secretly record your conversation?
We could put no, we can't talk about it. Well, we can. You guys won't tell anybody.
I didn't say anything.
We could sneak it in jet.
I bet they x-ray it though. It's like going to the airport.
I mean, James Bond kind.
How'd that theme song go?
Dun, 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 dun. No, that's not it. That's something else. That's it. Can you play that on your guitar? Can you play it on your guitar?
I might need a minute to poke it out. Okay, on that note. What?
Strum it out. Pick it out.
You know, whatever.
Poke it out. Okay. On that note. That could be the end.
It's almost 100 days.
I'm making the table shake.
100 days in Liberia tomorrow, so.
That was funny. I think you embarrassed yourself a little.
I have no shame. There's no shame in my game.
No shame in my game. This was really long. Sorry, guys.
Bye.
Oh, if you want to give a tax-deductible donation to the Butlers, Adopt Together, I'm going to include it on tonight's description. Bye.
Bye.